Hello students, this is Miss Maimuna. I'm the biology teacher in Learning Space. Today I will explain the eye as a sense organ. Particularly we will talk about the iris reflex or the constriction or the dilation of the pupil of the eye. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. So students will be able to know the structures of the eye, know the function of each structure, understand how the iris reflex is working. I noticed during my teaching that the students they are confused when they are reaching to the reflexes of the iris. So I will clarify everything in this video. The structure of the eye, if we are looking to the structure of the eye from the front, so we will start it with the cornea. It's the concave part of the eye and it is transparent. Then we will have the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. In between, there is an opening, which we call it the pupil. This is the opening that will allow the light to penetrate to the lens and it will focus on the retina. Focus the light on the retina. As we see here, we have different types of muscles, ciliary muscle here, and there are suspensory ligaments which are controlling the lens. An aqueous humor here, which is transparent, which allow the light rays to be focused on the lens. Looking at the back side of the eye, there is the sclera, then the choroid, which is full of the capillaries, the blood capillaries. Then the yellow part will be the retina, that which resembles the sensitive film in the camera. It's full of receptors, light receptors and color receptors. The part that it has the more photoreceptors, we call it the fovea. The place where the optic nerve is attached to the eye, no receptors there, so we call it blind spot. You cannot see anything if the image occurred here, so it is a blind spot, so you cannot see any image. Okay, so this is a table that summarizes the structure with their functions. For the cornea, it reflects light and protects the eye. Iris, it controls how much light enters the pupil. Lens focus light into the retina. Optic nerve, a bundle of sensory neurons that carry the impulses to the brain. Retina, it's a layer of tissue at the back of the eye that contains the light receptors, which are the rods and the cones. Photoreceptors also, this is the other word. Fovea, the area of the retina with highest concentration of cone cells that provide sharp vision. Aqueous humor maintains the pressure in the eye and nourishes the cornea. Vitreous humor maintains the shape of the eye and attaches to the retina. Ciliary muscle or ciliary muscles help change the shape of the lens in accommodation. Sclera, tough outer layer that the muscles that move the eyeball attached to. Pupil, it's the hole in the center of the eye that lets light in. This is to make it clear. Iris, it is the circular structure contain pigments and it gives the eye color. As you can see here, you can see different colors like blue, green, hazel, and very light blue here. So, which is giving the color of the eye is the iris. The pupil, it's the black hole center of the iris, which lets light into the eye. How the iris is controlling the diameter of the pupil, the diameter of this opening. The iris, it has circular and radial muscles. These muscles, they will contract and relax so they can control the opening of the eye. As you can see here, in the bright light, the circular, this is the diagram that shows the circular muscles. It's like discs that coming over each other. These are the circular muscles. And there are other type of muscles which we call radial muscles. So if there is a bright light, what is going on? The eye, if too much light is entering the eye, it will affect the retina. So the body or the eye itself uh, will respond very quickly to this stimulus, which is a bright light. So, what will happen? Circular muscles will contract. So, they will contract to do what? To make the opening smaller. So, no more light than needed is entering and going to the retina. What will happen to the radial muscles? They will relax to allow these circular muscles to do what? To contract. What will happen to the opening, to the pupil itself? It will constrict, it will be smaller. So it will not allow that much light to enter to the eye. What will happen in the dim light? Circular muscles will relax while radial muscles will contract, the pupil will dilate, it will allow more light to enter to the eye during or through the pupil. This is another explanation or another diagram that shows how the opening or the pupil, here it will constrict, here it will dilate, and this is another one constricted pupil. You can see here how the dilated, the radial muscles are relaxed and how the circular ones are contracted. The other or the reversed case will happen during the dim light. So the radial muscles will contract while the circular muscles will relax. Okay, I have a model here that I designed for you to see how this is happening. Imagine that these are the circular muscles and these are the radial muscles. So if there is too much light, logically, the opening should be narrower. So constriction will happen. So what will happen? The the radial muscles will relax, allowing the circular muscles to contract to make this opening narrower. This is the constriction of the pupil. So they are relaxed while the circular muscles will do what? Will contract. In the dim light, the other thing will happen. The radial muscles will contract, as you can see here, allowing the opening to be more, so dilation happen, more light will enter to the eye, and these muscles are involuntary and it is a reflex, so the eye will do it within seconds. You can try it going inside, outside, and look in the mirror, and you can see the pupil is constricting. It will be smaller in the light, and try to enter a dark room and look at not that much dark, but darker than outside, and look at the pupil. I wish it is very clear and you understood how these muscles are working together. To see how the reflex action is happening, so the sensory neurons in the optic nerve, vision coordinating center between the fore and the hind, and there is a relay neuron. There is a sensory neuron and there is a relay neuron and there is a parasympathetic neurons. So if there is a bright light, what will happen? Sensory neurons will carry these changes to the what? To the sensory neurons, which will transfer the electrical impulse to the relay neurons, which will transfer the electrical impulse to the parasympathetic neurons, and these neurons will trigger the constriction of the pupil, so the pupil size will reduce. While in the dim light, it's the same idea, but the stimulus here is less light, so it will also, here the will sensory neurons will detect the change in the light intensity. They will generate an electrical impulse and transferring this to a relay neuron, which will transfer it also to the parasympathetic neuron, then to motor neurons, which will do what? Circular muscles of the iris to do what? To relax so they can allow more light to enter. And by the way, the iris muscle is controlled by autonomous nervous system, radial muscles served by the sympathetic nervous system, and circular muscles will served by the parasympathetic nervous system. All these muscles contraction and relaxation is or are involuntary. Thank you for watching. Wish that it was clear to you. Thank you very much.